Have you ever wondered why certain emotions persist despite endless self-reflection? Why you find yourself drawn to similar relationship dynamics that cause familiar pain? Or why there's always this nagging sense that you're either overwhelming others or somehow inadequate? These cycles didn't originate in your adult years. They are whispered remnants, ancient and subtle, created long before you possessed the vocabulary to understand them. Carl Jung observed that when the unconscious remains hidden, it governs your existence while you mistake it for destiny. Yet sometimes what molds you isn't even a recollection. It's a falsehood, not one you selected, but one you absorbed. And until you expose it, it will silently determine your self-worth, your actions, and your very sense of self. Before we continue, pause and breathe. This exploration serves as more than content. It functions as a reflection. If these words resonate deeply within you, consider supporting this journey of psychological discovery, where we venture beyond surface-level understanding to rediscover our authentic selves. Now, let's delve deeper. Your early years don't simply conclude when you reach maturity. They persist, not as a temporary period you move beyond, but as a foundational template woven into your psychological fabric. Jung perceived childhood not merely as a developmental stage. He recognized it as an archetypal force, a potent representation of remembrance, fragility, and untapped possibilities. And for countless individuals, that inner youngster remains locked in protective mode. Right from birth, we molded ourselves to fit the emotional environment surrounding us. When affection came with conditions, we discovered how to put on a show. When expressing feelings brought danger, we mastered the art of suppression. These weren't calculated decisions. Our nervous systems interpreted the world through vocal tones, physical tension, physical contact, or its complete absence. And those sensations authored the initial instructions for who we needed to become to find safety. These instructions become so deeply rooted that once we reach adulthood, they don't register as behavioral patterns. They register as our core nature. But that's incorrect. They're protective mechanisms masquerading as personality. Contemporary brain research validates what Jung intuitively grasped. Neural pathways form around early interpersonal encounters. Therefore, a youngster who discovers they must minimize themselves to prevent confrontation doesn't simply select quietness. They embody it. And this explains why recovery feels like mourning. You're not merely modifying actions. You're disentangling your sense of self from tactics that once ensured your survival. These modifications carry no shame. They were precious. But they demanded sacrifice. To endure, we constructed a facade. Jung termed it the persona. The aspect of ourselves that could receive approval, acceptance, or at minimum, be left undisturbed. But each time we donned that facade, we banished something else into darkness. Our fury, our desires, our sorrow, our authentic voice. The persona isn't deceptive, it's incomplete. It represents who we needed to be to escape abandonment. The heartbreak lies in mistaking that facade for our true self. And we mature into adults who earn recognition, perhaps even admiration, yet remain secretly disconnected, uncertain of their genuine identity beneath all the accommodating, pretending, or concealing. Society applauds our conformity. It labels the suppressed child as flexible, the muted one as resilient. But beneath the recognition lies strain, because what appears as self-assurance often stems from carefully refined anxiety. Jung identified this rejected aspect of the self as the shadow, everything we concealed in darkness to gain acceptance in the light. And here's where the most damaging falsehood takes root. It wasn't shouted at you. It wasn't documented. It was experienced repeatedly through subtle, everyday interactions. And the falsehood declared this: your authentic self isn't sufficient to receive love, not because anyone explicitly stated it, but because affection arrived with stipulations. Perhaps you received praise solely for accomplishments, were dismissed when expressing sadness, faced consequences for displaying anger, or earned approval only when remaining silent, compliant, unnoticed, and consequently you absorbed, "I must." Transform into someone different to remain secure. This falsehood transcends emotion. It becomes physical. Your body retains what your conscious mind chose to forget. You hesitate before expressing your reality. You apologize excessively, adjust constantly, give endlessly. You pursue flawlessness. You dread becoming a burden. All of it. Every response represents a tactic born from a mistaken understanding of your value. But the falsehood didn't originate with you. It started generations earlier, transmitted through emotionally depleted family lines that never discovered how to embrace a child's complete humanity. And now it dwells within you, not as a concept, but as an automatic nervous system response, a method of preparing for a world that never created room for your authenticity. Here's something rarely discussed. Recovery isn't appealing. It's unpolished. It involves mourning who you were forced to become. It means sitting with your inner child and promising, "I won't abandon you anymore." If these words are touching something within you, take a moment to breathe, because now we identify the pivotal moment. The purpose of healing isn't repairing what's damaged. It's remembering what remains intact. Jung didn't advocate for self-improvement as we understand it currently. He discussed self-recovery, the gradual, brave reclaiming of the aspects of ourselves we sacrificed for survival. And here lies the contradiction. The person you're attempting to become is actually the person you were before you needed to perform. The journey toward wholeness, what Jung called individuation, isn't about achieving perfection. It's about becoming genuine. It involves facing the furious child, the tender one, the untamed one, the frightened one. Not to repair them, but to finally declare, "I acknowledge you. You belong here." These aspects aren't defects. They are solutions. Every emotion you concealed contains understanding. Every tear held back carries recollection. Every anger you suppressed contains boundaries. You don't recover by eliminating those aspects. You recover by welcoming them back. And yes, others may not comprehend, but you do. And that suffices. Each time you select authenticity over acting. Each time you permit yourself to experience, to refuse, to pause, to express, to exist, you are disrupting the pattern. You are releasing the most harmful falsehood, not through reasoning, but through experience. Because the instant you begin choosing your truth over your conditioning, the falsehood loses its strength, and you discover you never needed to earn your value. You always possessed it. The falsehood claimed your worth was contingent, but your existence proves otherwise. Allow that reality to settle. If this message awakens something within you, don't contain it. Share your thoughts below. Express which aspect resonated with your spirit. Your experience might serve as the reflection someone else desperately requires. And if you value this type of meaningful, soul-centered development, consider joining this community. We're not here to offer superficial content. We're here to help you remember your true identity. You deserve completeness. You always have. Thank you for your attention. We'll continue this journey together.